Before we start our presentation, first I will introduce you with our group member. Our group member consists of three people, which is the first one is myself, Rushadi Nukarin Berozani Risham, with a number matrix of AA212296. Then we have Muhammad Rizkar Sham bin Ramlan with a number matrix of AA210194. Then lastly we have Muhammad Faiz Haikal bin Abdullah Sani with a number matrix of AA211338. Now, let's go to the objective of sandcasting. There are five objectives. The first one is to gain hands-on experience with metal casting by using the sand casting method. Second, to apply metal casting expertise to the creating of usable items using the sand casting method. Third, make a model for a casting based on a pattern assembly. Fourth, to melt a certain metal and make any necessary chemical adjustment. And lastly, pour the molten metal into the cavity to allow it to solidify. That's all for the objective of sand casting. Before we done any sand casting, we first need to know the safety precaution of sand casting project. The first one is to wear eye protection, glove, spade covering top of feet, and thick clothing protecting all exposed skin on arms and legs. Second, sand floor in pouring area should be clear of all objects not involved in pouring. Third and lastly is metal added to heat must be free of moisture and impurities. That's all for the safety precaution of sandcasting project.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Before we continue to the next part, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Rizkal Sham bin Ramlan and my metric number is 20210-194. So, we move to the design of our product. For our group, the pattern that we chose is the bell-shaped design. This is a pretty new for us because on top of this product is a normal shaped bell, but the bottom of this design pretty unique because it had a block look like on it. This pattern turned out a great result. Next, move to the final product part. As you can see on the slide, this is our final product and there is some major defects on it. The major defects of our product is the presence of many holes that did not follow the pattern. This major defect can be avoided by increasing the gap between the holes where we poured the molten aluminum. With me again, but for now, enough talking about the product. Now, let's move to the advantage of performing sandcasting. One of the advantage of performing the sandcasting are this technique can be done using any types of metal that can be melted. The second one is this technique is cost effective or is known as low cost because faulty product may be melted down and reuse it. This technique is incredibly beneficial to anyone who utilize it. And last but not least, it can cast any shape of pattern. This thing can give benefit to people because they can use this technique to cast any shape or design depends on their creativity to form the pattern.
Now, let's go to the objective of lost form casting. There are five objectives. The first one is to learn how to make a design using liquid aluminum. Second, to get proficient in the product procedure of lost form casting generally. Third, to make and choose the beautiful and difficult design for the shape of the polystyrene. Fourth, to understand the pouring technique and the cruel furnace used in the molten metal procedure. Fifth and the last is to inspect the product finishing flow and record it on the report. That's all for the objective. Before we done any project of lost form casting, first we need to know the safety precaution. The first one is to ensure there are no trip hazard between the furnace and the molding tray containing the flask. Second, make sure that any tools introduced into the melt. Third and the last, Wear full face shield, leather gauntlet, and apron. That's all for the safety precaution. Thank you.
Okay, for the lost form casting design, our design look like just a face bone, and this design we took it from the internet. Okay, for the final product of our design, there are a few major defects that have been detected by our group for this product, which is for the first one, there are a small holes on the product, which is because there are an air trap with the piece when the molten metal cold. To prevent the defect, we have to enable the gas and air to escape from the mold cavity. Okay, for the second defect, there are sand occlusion because when pouring the mold metal, sand are dragged into the mold cavity. To prevent the defect, we have to make a correct pouring way. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Okay, for the advantage of loss form casting, there are three advantage, which is for the first one, the process to make the product are easy, which is we have to follow just a few procedure to finish the product. Okay, second, the ability to create casting with high dimensional accuracy. We can see that the design and the final product are very similar with each other. Okay, for the third advantage, we can save time compared to the sand casting process. Last foam casting just took about 1 hour, while sand casting process just took